The night is cold, and the fire has burned down to a red glow. A parent wakes and sees a shape at the edge of the light: four legs, a long snout, two eyes reflecting the embers. It is standing near the food. It is standing near the children. Every instinct says the same thing: grab a stick, shout, throw a rock, drive it away before it decides the smallest sleeper looks like dinner. For most of human history, that was probably the sensible response. And yet, at some point, some wolves stopped running from human camps. More importantly, some humans stopped driving them away. That uneasy pause is why a descendant of that predator may be asleep on someone's couch tonight. The animal outside the fire was not a dog. Dogs descended from an ancient wolf population that no longer exists in its original form. Modern dogs and modern gray wolves are close relatives, but the wolves alive today are not simply unchanged versions of the animal that became the first dog. Whatever that ancestor looked like, it was still a serious predator. Humans and wolves also had good reasons to dislike each other. Both lived in groups, both hunted deer and other large grazing animals. Both could follow prey over long distances. They were not natural friends. They were rival hunters chasing the same meat. So, why would a wolf approach a camp full of humans who could kill it? One influential explanation starts with food. A successful human hunt could leave bones, skin, stomach contents, and scraps that people could not, or chose not to, use. For a wolf, even a small amount of abandoned food was easier than chasing a healthy animal across frozen ground. But approaching the camp came with its own risk. The most aggressive wolves would be attacked. The most fearful would never come close. That left a narrow category in the middle: animals bold enough to approach, but calm enough not to threaten anyone. If those wolves gained access to food and reproduced near human groups, each generation could become slightly better at tolerating people. No human needed to understand genetics. No wolf needed to decide to become a dog. The relationship itself created the filter. This is sometimes called the commensal scavenger hypothesis. It is well known, but it is not a confirmed account of how domestication began. Some researchers argue that mobile hunter-gatherers may not have produced enough reliable waste to support wolves around their camps. So food might explain part of the story. It does not explain everything. It especially does not explain why humans tolerated the visitors. We cannot know which benefit came first, if any of them did. But consider what a wolf could notice. A human camp settles for the night. People talk. Children sleep. The fire cracks. Then the wolf lifts its head. Its ears turn toward something beyond the light. Its nose catches a scent long before any human can. Perhaps it is another predator. Perhaps it is a stranger approaching through the dark. Even an animal that remained outside the camp might function as an alarm system with better ears, a better nose, and no understanding of working hours. The same senses might also be useful during a hunt. A canid could follow the trail of a wounded animal after humans lost it. It could detect prey hidden by vegetation or darkness. Much later, dogs unquestionably became hunting partners, but we cannot prove that hunting cooperation was the first reason humans accepted them. Still, the possible calculation is easy to understand. The animal near your children is dangerous, but it may also be the first animal to notice something even more dangerous approaching them. There is another possibility. Instead of waiting for adult wolves to approach, humans may have brought wolf pups into camp. Hunter-gatherers in many societies have adopted young wild animals. A wolf pup raised around people could become comfortable with human voices, smells, and routines in a way that an adult wild wolf never would. Keeping one pup would not create a dog. Many hand-raised wolves would still become difficult or dangerous as adults. But if people repeatedly tolerated the calmer animals, and those animals reproduced near humans, human preference would begin shaping which traits survived. Food scavenging and pup adoption do not have to be competing stories. Different groups may have interacted with wolves in different ways, across thousands of years and thousands of kilometers. That is why the evidence remains frustratingly unclear. Bones preserve teeth and jaws. They do not preserve behavior. An early dog and a local wolf can leave remains that look almost identical, so researchers still debate when, where, and possibly how many times domestication began. One of the earliest widely accepted domestic dogs was found at Bonn-Oberkassel in Germany. Its remains are roughly 14,000 years old and were discovered in a grave associated with two humans. The animal appears to have received human care while seriously ill. By then, this was no longer just a predator stealing scraps outside the fire. At least some humans had formed a social bond with dogs strong enough to care for them when they were no longer useful. But we should be honest about the opening scene. No archaeologist has proved that prehistoric wolves routinely slept beside children. The child near the fire represents the larger risk humans accepted when they allowed a powerful predator into their camps, their food supply, and eventually their families. There was probably no single night when humans tamed the wolf. The transformation was built from smaller moments. A wolf approached and did not attack. A human raised a stone and then lowered it. An animal warned the camp. A pup was fed instead of abandoned. Repeat those moments across enough generations, and the shape beyond the fire changes. First, it is a threat. Then, it is tolerated. Eventually, its absence feels wrong. And tonight, one of its descendants is lying beside a human bed, twitching its paws in a dream, with one ear still pointed toward the dark.